Welcome back once again to Shooting Womp Rats. I'm Daniel.
I'm Don.
And after a successful Blobbler day, which reminds me, how was your Blobbler?
My Blobbler was good, and I had two of them.
You managed two of them?
I managed two. A very good friend of mine, in fact, you played with him, Russell, on Friday Night Tabletop.
Mm-hmm.
He called me up Saturday night and said, hey, my mom wanted me to ask you, part of the fun thing about having Thanksgiving is you just gorge yourself on Blobbler Day, and then you have leftovers throughout the week. I went, yeah, your point? And he goes, well, we went over and stayed with my brother, and we had, Thanksgiving with them. Again, your point? Well, my mom wanted to know if you and the family would like to come over and have turkey with us Saturday. Yeah, I don't have to do dishes, I don't have to cook. So we took over a couple of pies and a green bean casserole and sat around and had a second Blobbler Day.
Awesome.
It was great. Company was good. Didn't have to do dishes. I liked it. How was yours, sir?
I spent it alone and ate a pizza.
What?
Yeah, something to do with my wife's ex's family, and they wanted my stepdaughter over. That's just not my kind of situation.
Well, I'm sorry, sir. I would have called you up. We would have hung out.
Yes, we would. You would have had a whole day of me.
I would have had a whole day. I would have taken my laptop upstairs, placed it on the Blobbler Day table, and I would have just had you sitting there and you could listen to us and you could have chatted and take part. And if you wanted, we could have actually gotten if you got your camera fixed, you could have been right there with us.
Awesome.
Could have. You should have let me know, man. I would have hooked you up.
Well, anyway, enough of that. Let's get to the news.
The news.
All right, your post's up.
My post for the week. Let's see. We started with the Adventure Seed Monday, number 16, which basically revolved around there was a mission to participate in a fleet maneuver training. The train, of course, is 0G. Imagine that. And the complication is a vehicle is impounded or confiscated. And finally, the opposition is a space armada. I know, kind of different from what we've had in the past. But the reason for that is that earlier in the week, I finally completed the expanded random mission tables. So that was my first foray into using that. So you guys let me know what you think of that. And, of course, that is not complete. We're always looking for additions to add to that table. So feel free to add some stuff. Random adventure number 9 this week was kind of unique in that it was more of a horror-themed idea. But it also had the added twist that the bad guy cannot be harmed.
Ooh.
Yeah, kind of cool that away. My character of the week is Shara Yate, who is a human gray force user, which means that she can kind of use what are known as traditionally dark side powers without the benefit of taking on corruption, taint, dark side, etc., because of the direction that she chooses to focus it. Rumor Wednesday number 16 came out as being Lord Vader has been seen at multiple locations at the same time. The Emperor has cloned him.
Ooh.
There you go. That's the rumor of the week for Wednesday. Planet Thursday is Nalo. It's a slightly dry, temperate, terrestrial planet with an imperial governor and some type of academic function. This being either, like I say, an academy of some type, perhaps civilian or imperial, or some other type of education facility. Maybe a re-education facility. Awesome. There you go. That's it for my post for the week, other than just the stuff that I drop off on a random sort of lark. How about you, Daniel? What do you got?
My character of the week was Owen Lars. I learned a lot about him while researching this. Owen knows about Luke's father and exactly about him. That was the reason why, and he was hesitant on taking Luke as a baby.
Oh, really? So he knows that it's actually really like his sort of nephew?
Mm-hmm.
It is like sort of nephew. It's like nephew-in-law. I mean, does that even really count?
Step-nephew?
So, I don't know. It's twisted. That family tree's got 1 or 2 knots in it. That's all I'm going to say about it.
But it was Beru that convinced him to take Luke. And Obi-Wan went to them to hand them Luke. And first, Owen didn't want anything to do with it. But Beru convinced him to adopt Luke.
See, now that would have been really interesting. I just read the book Kenobi, about a month ago. And, you know, it was touted as being, you know, what took place after he, you know, went to, you know, Tatooine and kind of, you know, hit himself out. What did Obi-Wan Kenobi do? Well, I can pretty much tell you it developed a whole lot of stand people. That's all I can tell you. It was not the book that I thought it was going to be. But if the book had some of the information that you just shared, it would have made for a much better read.
Agreed.
So Beru was the one that wanted to keep Luke.
Mm-hmm.
She took one look at little baby Luke and went, oh, he's not going to grow up to be a whiner. Lars probably looked at him and went, yeah, that's going to be a whiner. Every other sentence out there is going to be, oh, you know it's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
Which reminds me, have you ever seen any of the different versions of the Star Wars drinking game?
No.
One of them was that every time Luke whines, you have to drink. Whenever Han Solo is cocky, you have to drink. Whenever Princess Leia says something snarky, you have to drink. Whenever Yoda uses an incomplete sentence, you get to drink. Stuff like that. Whenever Lando Calrissian, you know, has a smile, drink. Just little stuff like that. All right. Anything else about Lars that makes him like cool, other than he's like Luke's step-in-law, brother, uncle, something?
I pulled his stats from Galaxy Guide 1, and everything is 2D with the exception of 2 or 3 skills.
Well, there you go. Moisture farming.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
You ever want to make a cookie cutter moisture farmer, you got it.
Rock on. We'll have to post it on the community and go, you know what? Be careful. This template may be overpowered. 2D. He's a monster.
Well, I think, leftovers aside, it's time to hit up the buffet.
The buffet!
You're canceling this chat?
I am. Until further notice, I am choosing to cancel the Star Wars D6 chat. There's just not enough interest right now, at least with the holidays, to warrant my time expenditure. Perhaps we'll try it again in the future. I do want to thank those that have participated in the past. It is not a done deal. We will try and bring it back on occasion, but like I said, just this time of year and the lack of people being able to put some time in and show up, I have a certain amount of time that I have that I can spend on other stuff, and if it's not going to produce, I'm just not going to do it.
I get it, especially with things kicking up with the tabletop games.
Yes, Star Wars Adventures Friday Night Table. Just as a note, and I'm not sure, did you get my email about this?
Yeah, I got your email about it.
Okay, I believe it's going to move to Sunday nights. Not 100% sure. Need to talk to you a little bit about that and some of the other people. What this does is this is going to leave a spot open on Friday. So what we have at this time is we do have what's going to be a Sunday night table, a Monday night table, which is going to be had its second meeting this last week. Went really, really well. The Thursday night game is coming together. In fact, I do believe the get-together is tonight, December 5th. Hopefully we'll have 3 to 4 people with characters ready to go. And we will try to start a Friday night tabletop again. And currently has 4 slots available, and we will not be starting that until Friday, December 13th. And that'll be, I believe, a week. I've got something going on this Friday, so I'm unable to do it. So that's what we got. And what's exciting about all that, Daniel, is, we tried a couple of different things, like the open tabletop and stuff like that, and it just didn't work. I don't know if it was the time or the day or what, but now, if everything works out, we will have a 4 nights a week game going on.
Awesome.
I am very excited about that. And as people get more comfortable with the playing in a virtual tabletop, I want people to take everybody around the table that's involved in the group to at least game master one session. And hopefully once they get a little more comfortable with that, maybe they'll branch out, maybe they'll start their own game, maybe they'll start a wholly separate game and start up another group. Really kind of excited about that, but that's long term. I'm not expecting anybody to do any type of running of a single adventure, at least until after the first of the year. Get a couple weeks under their belts, get comfortable with it.
Okay. David Anderson on Facebook asks, how do you tend to tie in finding Force teachers to characters' adventures, especially if you play in a relatively Jedi-limited time, like during the Rebellion era, or have a lot of non-sensitives in the party?
I like this question. You want me to go for it, or you want to start it off? Because I'm long-winded. I'm not sure if anybody out there noticed that about our group or anything like that. I'm sort of the loud one. He's kind of sort of the quiet wallflower. And I just kind of take over a conversation and go on and on and on. And I elaborate on some of my ideas, and sometimes just kind of talk a whole lot. But, I mean, I'm not really sure if anybody notices that.
The way I handled it, I had a character that was a Force-sensitive in this last campaign that I had to cut off.
Was it a hand?
A hand?
Well, you said you had to cut him off.
Oh, no, I didn't have to cut off that far.
No more wild turkey for him, huh?
Oh, no. I set up an NPC to find him in, of all places, a bar. And
so he told you the wild turkey was going to come round on us.
I actually used Wretched Hives of Scum and Villainy, the source book, which had both the location and the Force-sensitive in it that could teach. Now, he couldn't teach much of anything, but as heavy-handed as I am with the Force, I used it. And the player got to learn a little bit. Even he took a week off to handle something personal, and I had his character learning Force abilities.
Cool. I sort of have a more pronged way of dealing with this. In my game, I think that Jedi are really, or even Force sensitives, anybody that has Force knowledge has really gone to ground, at least in my games. And for my players, the stuff that is more available or is easier to get than an actual person is notes or, texts and stuff like that, where they can go off and they can discover, not like a Jedi holocron, but I mean, like a textbook or something about a certain aspect of the Force. And, it takes, longer than it does to learn it without a teacher. I'm sorry, it doesn't take as long with a teacher, but more than if you did have a teacher. So, I mean, it's kind of a happy medium. And as a game master, you can kind of just tailor it to the direction you want to go and how powerful you want to allow the character to get from that particular piece of knowledge. Another thing I like to do is have the Force sensitive run into, like, say, a Force teacher. And what happens is, the Force teacher might teach them for a while, and then he just disappears. He's gone. Or he happens to be in a certain regional area, but he's constantly on the move. So what happens is the character will go on a quest, find the Jedi or the Master or the teacher, learn a little something. The teacher's like, oh, look, I gotta go. And he's gone. And so what does the character have to do? Has to go on a little mini adventure to go find this guy and, kind of like that. I mean, that's my thing. I have Force users come in and out of the characters' lives at sporadic times.
Makes sense.
I like it. Now, we've been talking a little bit about, the Force this week. I went ahead and posted something called Corruption, alternate rules for tracking the dark side. And basically, it replaces the dark side tracking mechanics. It also incorporates a personality quirk table from the Tales of the Jedi source book. Creates a system that allows, basically, for role-playing the fall to the dark side.
Awesome. Yeah, and I've given this a read, and I got to tell you, the mechanics behind it are great.
I was really surprised, and I mean, I would like to take most of the credit for it, but unfortunately, what it is I cleaned up a lot of stuff that was already out there, and then I just had little brief moments of epiphany. But I mean, the whole idea behind it, I like it. I like it a lot. Basically what happens, guys, is we completely ignore dark side points. They are gone. Alright? And it was kind of interesting because when I went through this, for the longest time, for some odd reason, I thought a dark side point was just like a Force point, only it was tainted. Well, guess what? I went through and read the book. It's not. I was in error. It's just a tracking mechanism. Now, what happens is when a person gets a dark side point, the game master rolls a d6, and if it is less than the total number of dark side points, the person is consumed by the dark side, and he just hands his character over to the game master. That is the original mechanics, and I always thought, well, where's the fall to the dark side? Where's some of the role playing, some of the characteristics and stuff like that? And